Hello, I'm Deneen L. Garrett, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel, Women of Color in Intimate Conversation. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a women's empowerment speaker. And yes, I do speaking in public spaces in person, as well as virtual. I am also the creator and host of Women of Color in Intimate Conversation, the podcast. And you can listen on your favorite podcast platform or here on YouTube. And I am a dream lifestyle coach. Here's Dream Lifestyle, live a dream lifestyle. That's my focus, and that's how I live my life. And that's also a business that I have. So let me just talk to you about that. So back in January of 2022, I chose live as my word for the year. I'm one of those persons who does choose a focus word. And then I decided to choose live a dream lifestyle as my focus for the year. I had seen someone tweet about, this was when it was still Twitter. I saw somebody, and before Elon Musk, I saw somebody tweet about living a dream lifestyle, right? About a dream lifestyle, as opposed to just like a dream car or a dream house. They were looking at the whole lifestyle. So I'm like, okay, let me focus on this year living a dream lifestyle and sharing with people what that looks like for me. And what that did look like for me and still does, number one, is travel. So I did more travel. I would share with people on social media, hey, this is what I'm doing. Here's where I am. And just to include people in my life and what I had going on. And I retired from corporate in June of that year. And then I decided I really want to empower other women to live a dream lifestyle as well. So that's what I started doing. And that's where the dream lifestyle coaching comes from. So I elevate the voices of women of color through my podcast, through speaking, through the different things that I do. And I also empower women of color to live a dream lifestyle. And I do that through the way that I live my life. So as an example, right? Sometimes we need permission to do things. And so my aspiration is that I am inspiring women to do that, to seek more joy in their life, because that's really what it's about, right? However you decide you want your dream life to be is unique, is individual. But what I want for everyone is that you're seeking joy. So whatever that looks like for you, that's what I want you to have more of. And that's how I live my life. And this year, 2024. So in 2023, the focus was to live a bigger dream lifestyle. And then this year is to live a grander dream lifestyle. And it has started off that way for me. I actually ended the year featured on a billboard in the New York Times Square. Okay, how huge is that? And it was the Friday before New Year's Eve. So you know it was minty people in Times Square that particular weekend, right? And that's just how I ended the year. And then I started the year being featured in several international online publications, and just going from there, right? And speaking opportunities are coming, virtual as well as in person. So I just wanted to welcome you to my channel, tell you a little bit about me, and thank you for being here. Please subscribe. Please share it with other people. I'm really trying to build out. Let me take it back. I'm not trying to build out. I am building out my channel, and I really want to connect with you. My goal has been to empower and elevate millions of women of color. And in order to do so, I need your help in reaching women of color. So thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. And again, hit that subscribe button. Thank you. This week's guest is business coach and strategist for coaches, Valincia Bennett. Valencia, tell us more about you.
Hi, I am so happy to be here. I am a business coach and strategist for coaches. I work directly with coaches to help them simplify their systems and strategies So it's easy for them to achieve consistent 10K plus months. And I tell people that's my online business. I have four other businesses
Okay.
outside of this online business. But yes, we'll probably get into that a little bit later in the episode.
Awesome, awesome. So you're described as the trailblazing business enthusiast who, against childhood dreams of being a corporate lawyer, took a bold leap into the dynamic world of entrepreneurship. And you actually
Mhm.
left a 10-year career in healthcare to pursue coaching full time. What inspired that?
You know what? There was moments when I was working in corporate and I knew that my next position would be like I could become the president of a hospital. And
Okay.
at first I was excited about that. I was excited about climbing the corporate ladder. And then there was a moment I wasn't.
Mm,
There was a moment when I was like, I don't want to do this. But in essence, I never took the opportunity to really consider my options because you just go with the flow. You go with what you think you're supposed to be doing versus what you really want to do. And my lovely husband, he started to question that. He's like, Valencia, what is it that you want to do? I'm like, I don't know.
right.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so when the pandemic happened, well, back up a little bit. Prior to the pandemic, I started looking for other jobs. But every time I would go on Indeed, no job stood out to me. I'm like, how am I not wanting to apply to any jobs? That's weird. And
Right.
so I was praying. I'm like, Lord, please give me some clarity. Help me figure this out. I don't know what in the world I'm supposed to be doing. So fast forward and the pandemic happens. And I am at home for the first time ever, like at home working from home, first time ever in my life. And my husband always had a very flexible work schedule. Whereas me, I'm like, I'm working 12, 13 plus hour days. That was
Mhm.
normal for me. And then on the weekend, I'm working. And so here he comes. He's just kind of walking around, like, I'll be back. I'm like, where are you going? Where are you going? He's like, I'm going to Home Depot. I'm like, oh, okay. Middle of the day. That's kind of awesome.
Right.
And so he started to show me, like, I started to really see a different life. I'm like, this isn't normal. And I was used to it because my mother was a single mother. She worked three jobs. So
Mm,
I was used to seeing a woman always working.
yeah.
So that was my idea of reality. And so when the pandemic happened, I had the opportunity to work from home. I'm like, this is kind of nice. I don't have people knocking on my door. I'm not running around the hospital like a crazy person. And honestly, in that moment, God spoke to me and he told me December 31st, 2020 is your last day.
Mm,
And when he told me that, I did not question it. I didn't think about it twice. I said, you know what? Got it. Noted. Told my husband not too long after that. I'm like, honey, that's it. December 31st, God told me I'm out of there. I'm done. I got to figure something else out. And so I started to explore other options. And that's when I decided that it was time to be a full time entrepreneur. And coaching is what started to call
okay.
me. And I led into the coaching space and wanted to help people with their businesses. Because even while I was working, I had my husband and I had side businesses, but it was nothing like it was fun stuff, things I enjoyed, but there was something I felt like I wanted to do more, like created a bigger impact. And coaching is what really fills that cup for me.
Okay. So it's a couple things I want to kind of pull out, and I'll
Yeah.
kind of work from here back. So you mentioned seeing your mom work. And so I want to kind of
Mhm.
talk about that because you had an idea of what work looks like.
Yeah.
Right? And if it didn't look like that, then you didn't see it as work, right? Which so many
Right.
people do. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Have you
Yeah.
actually explored that? Have you like pulled back the layers and say, well, just because a person is not working three jobs or they're not constantly going in and out, that they still could be working?
Yeah, I did. Like when I made that initial transition, like I tell people, there's a serious shift that happens when you go from employee to employer, right? Or
Yeah.
employee to CEO. You have to start assessing, is this normal? Like it starts to feel weird to you because it's not what you were used to. And so there was a lot of self discovery and a lot of self awareness I had to go through during those moments to realize, like, Valencia, you don't have to work 12, 13-hour days for you to feel productive.
Right. Right.
Once you don't, go ahead.
Oh, no, no, no.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, no, it was just a lot of self-talk, a lot of direction of there's more to life than working. You can work and enjoy work, but you don't have to be working all the time. You
Yeah.
can have that disconnect. And so there's a lot of cool little things that I've put into place to make sure that I don't go that way because I am a recovering workaholic. So I have to always make sure, like, okay, Valencia,
Yeah.
step away from the computer.
Yeah, no, I love that. And so really what that is what I've been having conversations the past week or two about those limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
right? So you had a belief around what work looked like, and then you found out that work can look so many different ways. And so now you're leaning into that work and you're leaning into that for yourself as an entrepreneur. And then so now when you were in the healthcare industry, were you a lawyer or what were you doing?
No, so in healthcare, I was a business director in the
Okay.
healthcare industry. So I was a business director for about 10 years. And of course, there were positions that I moved up in during that time, but that was just like the overall gist of my career in healthcare was always the business and operations of healthcare.
Okay. And then obviously you leverage all of that in your business, and that has also been like the foundation for you to help other business owners as a coach.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And having the 4 other businesses, right? Like there was things that my husband and I dabbled in, like we had our businesses as I was working, but I never looked at it as, oh, I can do this full time, which is weird because I
Yeah.
don't know why I didn't. I always thought that security was in a corporate job,
Mhm.
right? Because sometimes you're told that too. Get a
Yeah.
good job and that's what you need. And so the idea of because in business revenue goes up and down, right?
Mhm.
And that was one of those things I was like, okay, I don't want my revenue. I want my consistent paycheck.
Right.
And when I realized like you can create your own consistency,
Mhm.
it's just all about your actions. What are you doing to create that consistency in your world? You
Yeah.
have to do it. And if you do it and you do it well, then you're pretty much creating that security for yourself that you thought you had in the job.
Correct. And not only that, when you're in like corporate setting, you have a cap, if you will, right? You know that, okay, I'm going
Yeah.
to get this amount and each time I get paid at the end of the year, I may or may not get this bonus, et
Yep.
cetera, et cetera. And the only way to really get more money is to get promoted, blah, blah, blah. But when you own your own, you can come up with different ways, do different things to go ahead and earn your money. And that's something that so I talk a lot about Rachel Rogers, and she wrote the book, We Should All Be Millionaires.
Yep.
And Rachel, one of the things that I learned from her, and it helped shift um, to ground me more in a growth mindset, is that,
Mhm.
okay, think about that dream life. How much does it cost? And
Yep.
okay, what are you going to do to get it? As opposed to, oh, let me not get a latte this week, right? And save those few
Mhm.
pennies when you actually can go out and do things to make thousands, right? And to bring in that additional revenue, which you probably know a lot about because I understand you achieve financial freedom by 30.
Yes. I know it's like when people say that, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's still so surreal, just coming from a household of a single mother working 3 jobs and then to be in this situation, like this amazing place that my husband and I are in financially. I'm like, how in the world did you do this? But it was those getting away from those limiting beliefs,
Hmm.
going out and creating opportunities, not being limited by our past, but knowing that we are responsible and creating our future. And we knew that at a very young age. I tell people I bought my first house when I was 21. That was like my first investment.
Okay.
Graduated from college in May, bought a house in November,
Love it.
right? And so that was the first investment. We fixed it up, we flipped it. And I tell people my husband and I were like the black Chip and Joanna Gaines. We fix homes, sell them, make really good profits that
Oh,
way. And then we have other means of income. But I was doing that while working. So even on the weekends, we would go and flip our homes and sell them. So truly, and I love Rachel's Roger take on that. It's like figure out what it is that you need to make and make it happen so
Mm.
that you don't have to always kind of do the penny pinching piece. I am very frugal when it comes to money. But my husband and I, we follow, I call it the no budget method. And what that is that we are very aware of our expenses and our revenue, but we go towards our financial goals. So let's say if our goal is to save 100,000 or if the goal is to invest in stocks, whatever it is, we make sure our expenses are paid
Mhm.
and then we contribute to our goals. And whatever money we have left over, we live.
Yeah.
So we are not on the rice and beans diet. Like I understand what Dave Ramsey why he says that because some people need that type of that those boundaries.
Mhm.
But for us, we're like, nope. Once we contribute to our goals, we pay our expenses, we get to do whatever we want. We go out to eat when we want, we travel when we want. We still enjoy life while build continuing to build that financial freedom.
Yes. And
And
to
we
me,
did it even during that time.
yeah. And to me, that's what, living a dream life is about, which we'll come back to that. So this podcast, Women of Color, an Intimate Conversation, is about empowering women of color and elevating their voices. So thinking about the strategies that you use to become financially free and or the strategies that you coach your clients to use, what three actions can women of color take to tap into their power and voice?
Oh, that's a good one. So the first thing, I'm just going off of personal experience and what I
Yeah.
kind of tell my clients, right? And the first thing is self-discovery, right? I think a lot of us just go with emotion. We just go with what we are supposed to do versus what we really want to do. And so taking the time to really stop and assess what is it that I want? What do I want my life to look like? That is just the beginning. The
Mhm.
second thing is now developing a plan to get there. And that is figuring out what is it that I need to do tomorrow, the next day, and the next day to make this my new reality. Because having a plan allows you to stick to it, and you can even have people to hold you accountable.
Mhm.
And then the third thing is, I'm going to say, seek help. Get somebody to help you because that will help expedite your experience and the things that you want way faster than you're trying to do it alone. I think about it all the time. I'm like, I wish I knew really about career coaches when I was in my career.
Mhm.
I didn't really know about career coaches until after. I'm like, but if I knew about them while I was in my career, I probably would have and maybe found a career path I enjoyed a little bit more.
Yeah.
I still feel like I would have ended up where I am today because I just love what I do. But I feel like I would have just had someone to give me more guidance and more direction because we are limited by what we know. And so being able to tap into other people's knowledge and experiences allow us to really expand our mind and realize like, oh, this is possible. What? This is real. This can happen. And then you're able to make it happen with that support of that person.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of talked before about seeing your husband in the middle of the day, leaving the house and to going to Home Depot, and you're like, well, where they do that at? Right? Like,
Right.
working, then here you are, going out in leisure. And so you saw a different way again of working or of being, right?
Yeah.
And so when you were talking about that, I was kind of thinking about how as Black women and other women of color, we do a lot and we do too much. Let's just keep it real.
Yes.
And we don't always
Absolutely.
prioritize ourselves and self-care. So let's talk about the importance of taking time for ourselves
Yep.
and the power in the pause.
I love the pause. And I have intentionally scheduled the pause in my life. Truly. So every day, like I am a nap taker. So
Okay.
probably around like I know when my energy starts to drain. So around like 1, 2 o'clock ish throughout the day is when I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go take a nap. And so I'll take like a 30 minutes, an hour nap in the middle of my day. I love it because it really recharges me, rejuvenates me so that I can one, finish whatever work I need to do, and two, being able to go and do the work from the household. So that's me cooking, cleaning, whatever it is that I need to do. It's kind of like I've taken that intentional pause in my day to just, I tell people that's my form of meditation, taking a nap.
No, I love it.
um,
Naps are powerful.
yeah, I love a nap. And then the next thing I call it Free Flow Friday.
Okay.
So every Friday, I have nothing on my schedule unless it's planned, but it's intentional to be a part of the Free Flow Friday.
Mm.
And on Fridays, I just get up and I'm like, what am I doing today? And that's when I might go get my nails done. I might go to the spa. I might go look for stuff for the house. Like I just really get out and explore. And some days I don't know. I just get in the car and go.
Yeah.
I call my mother, whoever, my friends, whoever I can while I'm driving and talk to them. I just really make it a day about me, a day where I just get to choose everything that I want to do that day. I don't have to, because when you work with clients, you have to work with them and you have a lot of, I got to make sure my husband is good. And so that day is my day. It's my day to do whatever I want. And I just love it. It's truly free flow. And I'm like, I can't imagine life without it. I've skipped it a few times. I'm like, oh no,
Right. Well, we
you
can
need your
figure out.
Friday.
I
You need your
love
Friday.
I love, and you know what, the two things that what you just talked about that really, really stand out is one, that your nap is something that you do daily, right? Because nowadays, when we're talking about self-care, it's like, oh, this one moment, maybe
Mm.
once a month, maybe once a week or whatever, we'll do this thing, but you're doing it every day. And so I love that. And so that's something for those that are listening or watching, consider incorporating a nap, start off maybe 20
Oh, good.
minutes and see how that works out for you. And then it's free flowing Friday. So is anything ever scheduled in advance for your Friday?
So honestly, some Fridays I do have something scheduled. Like if I'm going to I meet someone for lunch, like just a nice leisurely lunch with a friend or old coworker or something like that. But it's something fun for
Yeah.
me. Like I'm intentionally doing things I want to do.
Mm.
I may have a hair appointment scheduled. I may have um, any type of appointments that I would want to have scheduled. I just do it on that day. And if I want to go to the spa, I go to the spa and I have it scheduled in advance. So when I walk in, I can go right in and they know. So it's just a nice day where I get to plan a little bit. But there's some Fridays I don't. I just get up and I'm like, I'm gonna go try this new restaurant. Let me go.
No, I mean, I absolutely love that. And I love that you said fun, that you're making sure that
Yeah.
whatever you do on Friday is fun, because
Yeah.
it reminds of a conversation that I had. Actually, it was like a couple years ago, and it
Hmm.
was with Nikita Ren Thigpen. And so what I took away from that conversation is play. Make sure you're incorporating play, which,
Yep.
as adults, we forgot about play. Like
Hmm.
we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So for you and your intentional Fridays, I love that you're incorporating fun, which also
Yep.
could be play as well, which is something that we need to get back to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to pivot a bit. I honor my late sister, author and poet Soul True by asking about Dreams Deferred, which is the title of one of her books. Please share a Dreams Deferred moment.
Oh, dreams deferred. And are we just saying something that I've kind of put off and eventually decide to come back to?
Yep, if that's how you want to answer. It could even be something that you really, because I was thinking about the attorney thing, the corporate lawyer is
Oh,
just
I can
came
talk
to
about that.
mind. But even something that you thought you really wanted, it was a dream of yours, and then for whatever reasons, you're like, okay, no, I'm over that dream. So whichever way you
So,
want to go.
yeah, I love that. So, I can talk about that, the attorney piece. So, if you would have asked me at the age of 3, Valencia, what it is that you want to do, I would have proudly shared and be like, I'm going to be an attorney. I'm
Hmm.
going to be a lawyer. And until I was maybe my junior year in college is when I made that decision to switch. So I was committed to being an attorney. And I asked myself, I'm like, what inspired me to be an attorney? What made me want to go that route? And I started to think about the influences of that. And I instantly thought about Claire Huxtable on the
Okay.
Cosby Show. I wanted to be Claire. I wanted to wear those cute suits. I wanted to have this just confidence about me. I wanted to be Claire. And as time went on, and I was in college when I really started to do a little bit of self discovery, then I'm like, do you really want to be a lawyer? And I asked myself a very tough question because I wanted to be a corporate lawyer.
Hmm.
And I said, Valencia, if you were to work for, let's say, Tylenol, and you know Tylenol created this new medicine and it unfortunately had side effects where it had it to the point where it killed people, would you be able to defend that company? And I said, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do it for any company. And so me knowing that about myself and me not being able to, I know even though that's my job, I wouldn't be able to fully do it. I was like, this is not the route for you. Being a type of lawyer is not where you should be. And so then I started to assess other options. And that's when I started looking to healthcare administration. And that felt more aligned with me because healthcare is all about, supposed to be all about helping people and healing. And so me being able to be in that space and being a part of those decisions was like, okay, this is what aligns with who I am today versus me wanting to be a Claire Huxtable.
Right.
And so that's what brought me down that path. And then once again, I just was like, okay, it's time to reassess yourself. And we're human, we change, we evolve. And with that, you learn that you have to change and pivot to where you need to go. And so even me being in healthcare and thinking that was the path, I pivoted to full-time entrepreneurship. And I'm very happy with my decision.
Yeah, and I love that you took the time to ask yourself why you wanted that. Because often we find out when we think about why we want something, what about that thing that, we're attracted to, then we realize and open ourselves up that there's other ways that you can have that. It does not
Absolutely.
have to be just that one way. So kind of going back to the limitations, right? Um, but thinking about, okay, I want to do XYZ, why? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
because I want to serve people, I want to help people, I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, there's many, many, many ways for you to do that.
absolutely.
And you don't have to put yourself in a box to say, oh, I just want to do it as a corporate attorney or whatever it is the
Mhm.
thing that you've chosen. And so that's something, again, that I really want those who are listening or watching to pay attention to is to really think about your why of doing something. So
Mhm.
now, again, you shared how you live your financial freedom, what that kind of looks like for you and for your husband. So I want to talk about living a dream lifestyle, which is what I empower women of color to do,
Yeah.
right? And what is living a dream lifestyle, and how do you live a dream lifestyle beyond what you've already shared?
The first thing I realized that as a dream lifestyle is being able to have control over my schedule,
Mm,
right? When you become an entrepreneur, I tell people initially you may not experience that freedom that you want because you're building a business, you're
right.
involved in your business. But the immediate benefit that you receive is flexibility.
Hmm.
You get to create the schedule that you want for your life. And to me, that is so powerful. And that is a part of living that dream lifestyle. So that opens up now I get to travel
Hmm.
more. Now I get to spend more time with my husband. Like before, I would be getting off of work 7, 8 o'clock. I'm exhausted. I hop in the tub and I'm getting ready to get into bed.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like intentionally like 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm done and I'm able to go and spend the rest of the day with him. And so my idea of a dream lifestyle is really just having that control over my day to day and allowing that to look and feel the way that I want it to look and feel. And so that is currently my reality. And I'm super grateful and blessed for it. But yeah, that to me is what a lifestyle looks like. I'm a very simple person. I am the queen of simple. I don't need fancy all of this. Like we have a beautiful home. I have a nice car. But to me, that's not what it's about. It's about experiences. It's about changing lives, impacting lives. And so for me, I tell people I'm all about what can I do to continue to build wealth? What can I do to continue to build a freedom lifestyle? That to me is what's important. I don't care about materialistic things at all.
Yes. So freedom and flexibility, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely, right? Those fun Fridays, those flexible Fridays, those
Oh, love
free
our fun
Fridays,
Fridays.
right? Love it. So, Valencia Bennett, before we wrap, what would you like to leave the audience with?
There's something I wish someone, I feel like people tell you this, but you don't really listen to it. But
Yeah.
you can truly create the life that you want.
Yes.
Your past does not define your future. So if there's things that you are struggling with from your past, go potentially talk to a therapist, speak to someone, because we want you to be able to move past that and start to build the life that you truly want. And that life could be as grand and amazing as you want it to be, or it can be as simple and quaint as you want it to be. You have the control. You get to create your own path. You get to create what you want your life to be. And so for me, that is anything is possible. Truly, anything is possible. Nothing can get in your way. The only person that can stop you is you.
Right.
The only one that can stop you is you.
And that's the key throughout this whole conversation. You drive it.
Yeah,
You're in the driver's
absolutely.
controlling. You can make moves for yourselves. And that's what this is about, and that's what the conversation has been about. You're doing something later in March, like the March 20th or 21st.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Yeah, so we have the company called PDA. It's pretty darn ambitious. It's the other word, but I don't curse. So it's always interesting when I say it. But yes, so it is a level up summit. Bianca King, she is the founder of PDA. And it's just a space where ambitious women come together and support each other and thrive and helping you create wealth. And so the level up summit is about teaching women about that. And it's she was showing me a stat the other day. She was like 88% of women-owned businesses don't make more than 100,000 a year. And because of that, we're like, no, we have to change the status quo. We have to show that it's possible and giving the tools and directions on how to make it happen. So that summit is about that, but also about the community, the PDA community, where women come together, support each other, and it's truly ambitious women. Like
Mhm.
there's women in there with 5, 6, 7, 8 companies. I mean, I'm one of them. But it's like we're not boxed in. Like, do not allow society to box you in. You could be whoever you want to be, whoever you want to be. And so that's what the summit is all about, is really empowering and showing women that it's time. It's time. It's time for you to no longer play small, and for you to step into your power and really show the world what you're made of.
Love it, love it. So yeah, I actually had Bianca on a few weeks ago. So her episode is 146, Ambition in Life, the
Ooh,
power of
come on.
ambition and finding fulfillment, insights from Bianca B. King. So so make sure you check that out as well. But I wanted to make sure to lift that up, right? Because generational wealth is not something as well known about, spoken about, practiced in our community, right? And so any
Right.
opportunity to learn about it and to get knowledgeable and to get support around it, I think we should tap into that. So we'll make sure to include that in the short show notes with your show as well. So Valencia Bennett, I have enjoyed the conversation. Thank
Same.
you for lending your voice on women of color in intimate conversation, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
My pleasure.